Genre: expository text. I Fall Down by Vicky Cobb. Illustrated by Julia Gorton. Essential question: how do the Earth's forces affect us? Read about how gravity pushes and pulls. Know what happens when you trip? You fall down. Know what happens when you spill your milk? It drips down. Throw a ball up into the air. Watch what happens. It goes up for a short time, then falls down. Try tossing other things up in the air. Your mom's keys. A block. When something falls, which way does it fall? Does it ever fall up? Know what makes things fall? It's a force called gravity. As long as you are on Earth, you can't get away from it. Gravity is always pulling things. Know which way? Down, down, down. You can see how gravity pulls. Take a spoonful of molasses or honey and point the spoon down so that the goo dribbles back into the jar. Watch it drip. The goo stretches and gets longer and longer. It looks like a ribbon streaming into the jar. Gravity pulls the molasses from the spoon back into the jar. Do some things fall faster than others? Try it and see. Hold a penny and a key in one hand. Open your hand so they both start falling at the same time. Listen and watch as they hit the floor. Did either the penny or the key win the race, or was it a tie? Things fall so fast it's hard to tell if there is a winner or a loser. Have lots of dropping races. But no matter whether the objects are big or small, it seems that it's always a tie. The only time you have a clear loser is when you drop something that the wind could easily blow away, such as a feather or a tissue. You see air fighting gravity only with very light objects. Stop and check. Reread. Why are the dropping races always a tie? Reread to check your understanding. If there were no air, you would find that gravity pulls everything at the same speed. Astronauts proved this on the moon, where there is no air. Every dropping race was a tie. Amazing, but true. Does everything land with the same force? Or do some things hit harder than others? Here's a way to find out. Have someone drop a dry sponge into your hand from about a foot above it. Next, try a small bar of soap. Which hits your hand harder, the sponge or the soap? Try dropping lots of things into your hand. Soon you will discover that some things hit harder than others. Now hold the bar of soap in one hand and the sponge in the other. Which is heavier, the sponge or the soap? Move your hands up and down to feel the difference. Your hands stop the sponge and the soap from falling to the ground. But you can still feel gravity's pull on the soap and sponge when you hold them in your hands. This pull is called weight. Stop and check. Reread. What is weight? Reread to check your understanding. You can see if one object is heavier than another without letting either of them fall. Here's how. Get 2 rubber bands the same size. Tie one of your shoes to one rubber band. Tie one of your parents' shoes to the other rubber band. Lift both shoes by the rubber bands. Which rubber band stretches more? The heavier shoe stretches the rubber band more. Each rubber band acts like a scale to measure weight. Your weight is a measure of how hard you fall when you fall down. How much do you weigh? How much does your mother or father weigh? The more you weigh, the harder you fall. But you don't have to fall in order to weigh yourself. A scale tells you how hard you fall, without you falling at all. So simply get on a scale. Yay! About the author and illustrator. Vicky Cobb likes to test out gravity on the ski slopes. Gravity pulls her one way on the hill, down. Vicky loved the creative tasks and hands-on experiments she did at her New York City elementary school. They made science fun. Vicky loved learning that way so much that today she writes books to help other kids learn the same way. Julia Gorton sees gravity in action every day while she watches her 3 children skateboard. Julia illustrates books and teaches at an art school. Author's purpose. Vicky asks the reader questions throughout I Fall Down. What do you think her purpose is for asking questions? Make connections. How does the force of gravity affect us? What is something you learned about gravity from I Fall Down that surprised you? Genre: expository text. Compare texts. Read about how things move. Move it. All about motion. Position is the place where something is. When something moves, it changes its position. A change in position is called motion. But what causes motion? Think about a swing. Like other objects, a swing cannot move by itself. It needs the push or pull of a different force. A person can push a swing. He or she can also pull it. Pushes and pulls keep a swing moving in a back-and-forth motion. Look for pushes and pulls that cause motion on the playground. Motion in action. Where can you see lots of motion? A soccer game. Many forces are at play in a game. Each kick is a push that moves the ball. If a player kicks hard, the ball moves at a fast speed. However, if the player gives the ball a gentle tap, it moves slowly. Speed is how far something moves in a certain amount of time. A player might kick the ball in a straight line. He or she can kick the ball up in the air, but the force of gravity will bring it back down. Kicking the ball in a zigzag path gets it away from players. The goalie can pull the ball away. Until the game is over, the motion never stops. Force. Push. Pull. Tractor. Push. Wagon. Pull. Foot. Push. Make connections. How do the forces of pushes and pulls affect objects? What have you read about the force of gravity this week?